The Cardinals were running wild last night. The Birds exploded with 5 home runs, 17 hits, and more than enough insurance to carry Chris Carpenter to his first win in 20 months, his first as a Redbird. This lineup, one of the most potent in all of Major League Baseball, and they're back at it again in Arizona this evening. Ray Langford says he's playing for the love of the game. Last night, his first-round tripper since 2002. Cards and Diamondbacks coming up on Fox Sports Net. Tony Womack, a 4-hit night last night here in Arizona. Mitchell Page always talking hitting with center fielder Jim Edmonds. And, of course, Albert Pujols, 3 home runs to start the 2004 campaign. Al Hrabosky, Dan McLaughlin with you. Welcome back here on Fox Sports Net for Game 2 of this 3-game series. Well, we knew the offense was going to be there. Right now, after the first week of the regular season, it's the most potent offense in all of Major League Baseball. The big question mark, starting pitching. You've seen the first 5. What's your anticipation of what you're going to see tonight?
Well, my anticipation is much greater than what we've seen in the past. But Matt Morris is going to pitch better. Jason Marquis is going to pitch tomorrow and get his first win. Woody Williams built up his arm speed. Jeff Suppan, well, he got his first start out of the way, and Chris Carpenter was a winner the first time around. But Matty Moe is the guy that's going to have to do it. He's got to get his mean streak back. He can't be walking people like he did his last time out. And it will help him because he did not face Arizona last year at all.
If you had to say there's one key for Morris in having success, emotions, mechanics, what do you see?
Well, I want him to bury that sinker, and I want the 12-6 curveball back. 2 pitches is fine, as long as they're dominant ones.
It's Game 2 of this 3-game set. The Cards and the Diamondbacks. Former Diamondbacks in the lineup tonight. Tony Womack and Reggie Sanders. We're in the desert. Cardinals baseball is coming up on your home of the Birds. Fox Sports in Arizona. First pitch on the way, and it's a strike to Tony Womack. Steve Sparks, our advanced auto parts starter, a knuckleballer. You see it bounce to the plate.
0-6 last year, pitching exclusively in relief, and personally has lost 11 straight decisions.
The 1-1 pitch to Tony Womack. Trying to bunt his way on and bunts it foul. He actually has 2 variations of his knuckleball. He has one that he throws a little bit harder than the other, and the slow one is the one that's bouncing all over the place. He said, hey, I have no idea where this one's going. But it's hard to hit. The 1-2 pitch.
See, that's a little harder variation that you talked about. And the ball up. A lot of guys have different theories. I was talking with Finley, who's has a history of hitting knuckleballs very well. The center fielder for Arizona.
That one is popped up left side. Shea Hillenbrand, foul ground for the first down. Let's take a look at the Cardinals lineup. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You saw Tony Womack. Now it's Ray Langford and Albert Pujols here in the first. Then Edmonds, Rowland, and Renteria. Sanders, Matheny, and Morris. Back to your story on Steve Finley.
Well, Steve Finley said he looks for the ball up and then tries to hit a home run. And I thought he was kidding at first. And he said, no, I've had good success with knuckleballers and hit a lot of home runs off them. You don't hear that. Now, what the Cardinals tried to do today was they tried to have, say, like a Dave McKay or the batting practice pitcher throw much slower and throw curveballs. Get them used to seeing a little movement, but they feel that it's such a rarity to see a knuckleball pitcher. And the biggest thing is the lack of speed is what throws off the timing.
Langford pounces on that one, but pulls it foul. Talking about Finley having success, the Cardinals looking up some numbers. Edmonds is 7 for 16 lifetime against Tim Wakefield, a knuckleballer for Boston. Rowland is homered off of Dennis Springer and Jared Fernandez, a couple of knucklerballers. So we've got some guys in this lineup that have seen it, but it's rare in the National League, really rare in Major League Baseball to see one. Wakefield has probably had the most recent success.
And probably has the best one. Joe Niekro.
2-2 on Langford.
And you'll see this one where Ray tries to hold up, can't hold up. Throw several of them up in the air there.
Full count on Ray, who homered last night. Just missed. Langford draws a 1-out walk. What an eye. Let's take a look at the defense. Roberto Alomar on the bench tonight, so playing second base will be Matt Cada. In the outfield, it's Gonzalez, Finley, and Bautista. This is brought to you by Auto Tire. Hillenbrand, Cintron, Cada, Sexton on the infield, and Brett Main is behind the plate using that oversized glove.
Remember, Robbie Alomar got upended, and Womack slid in hard to break up a double play and clipped his knee.
It was early on in the game last night. Well, you've got a guy in Ray Langford with 5 stolen bases this spring. Fresh legs, he says. Do you run on a knuckleballer?
Absolute lack of velocity, and if you get the jump, you definitely do. Ray wanted to.
Chance to turn 2, and they will. We head to the bottom of the first. Double play. Hillenbrand, Cada over to Sexton. Cards done in their half. No score.
First inning, Tony Womack tried to take out Robbie Alomar, and this is why he is not playing today. Got a little piece of him, elbow, and here you see the same thing. Matt Cada has to hurdle over Ray Langford, but they were able to complete the double play just like they did last night. Cada is not getting a lot of the playing time, but this is a very talented young man that already got 3 hits in his lone start earlier this week.
Cada was saying that he thought when Junior Spivey and Craig Counsell were traded, he thought he might be the everyday second baseman, but then they picked up Roberto Alomar on the cheap. And now he is a utility player for Bob Brenly, who is not managing tonight. It is Robin Yount, one of his bench coaches, the Hall of Famer. Matt Morris, his second start of the season, and here's Steve Finley. Our advanced auto parts starter for St. Louis, Morris.
Well, he started opening day, didn't have very good luck, and then the 5 walks got him in a lot of trouble. A couple home runs.
Finley hits this one into right center field. That'll go to the wall, and Steve Finley is on his way to second, and he'll stop right there. Lead-off double for the 39-year-old center fielder. Let's take a look at the Arizona lineup. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Finley, then Matt Cada. Luis Gonzalez here in the first. Richie Sexton, the cleanup man. Cintron, Hillenbrand. Danny Bautista, the right fielder. Brent Main behind the plate. Steve Sparks, the pitcher, batting ninth. And in steps Matt Cada.
He's a switch hitter and very talented young man. And I think when it's all said and done, he's going to get significant playing time.
Corners are in, anticipating the bunt. There it is. Morris, bare hands. Pujols back to the bag. That's the first out. Finley moves from second to third, and the first scoring opportunity in the game will be Luis Gonzalez. The Auto Tire defense for St. Louis looks like this. Langford, Edmonds, and Sanders in the outfield. Roland, Renteria, Womack, and Pujols on the infield. Mike Matheny is behind the plate. Morris, of course, on the mound. The Auto Tire defense for the Cards.
Matt Morris seemed like his velocity has been down, the inconsistency with his breaking ball. 2 exceptional pitches when he's Matty Mo. But got to get him back into a groove where he's very aggressive on the mound, even maybe entice a little more of a mean streak.
The left side of the infield is in. The right side plays back. Renteria is shooting in from his shortstop position and gets near that grass, and you see Roland even with the bag at third, maybe a step in. Luis Gonzalez hitting .313 in the first week of the season.
He's an excellent hitter. Last year he led all National Leaguers in batting average against right-handed pitching. But not a great deal of success in his career against Matt Morris. .231 average.
The 1-1 pitch fouled straight back. 5 straight years for Gonzo Al. 100 RBIs, 26 home runs, and a .288 average. He opened up his stance, and that really prolonged his career and just made him a different player.
Ever since he's come here to the Valley of the Sun, he's been a terrific offensive player and a much more prolific home run hitter.
High fly ball. Sanders back on the track, and he's got it. Plenty deep, and it's 1-0. Arizona's Finley will score the first run of this game. The RBI for Luis Gonzalez, number 4 this season. Arizona jumps out on top. And it brings in Richie Sexson. Finley scores the run. 1-0 Diamondbacks.
Matt Morris, I think his life is coming back on his sinker.
This is our key matchup. Brought to you by Ford. Richie Sexson, 5 for 25 with 10 strikeouts against Matt Morris.
No home runs, only 1 RBI.
And this one is popped up and out of play. 6'8", 237-pound Richie Sexson. One of the points of emphasis with Robin Yount. Bob Brenly is trying to cut down on those strikeouts. 151 last year. The year before he had 178.
Well, you know, Richie is a terrific player, but he has holes in his swing.
Ground ball left side. This is Renteria to his left over to Pujols. And we played an inning. The Hall of Famer Robin Yount. The manager tonight, Bob Brenly, suspended. They're on top 1 for the second. Robin Yount is the manager tonight. We flash back to his playing career. Hall of Fame career. Entire 20 years spent as a member of the Milwaukee Brewers. Broke in as an 18-year-old shortstop. Then he moved to center field, and he picked up 3,000-plus hits along the way. The Hall of Famer Robin Yount, the manager tonight, and truly one of the greats of Major League Baseball.
Lives right here in the Phoenix area. Was waiting and expecting a call from Milwaukee. That call came from Arizona first, and ends up with 31-42. Hit department. Bob Brenly suspended tonight. He's down the steps.
Here's Edmonds. Had a couple of RBIs last night, late in the game in the 9th. Robin Yount retired in 1993, 2-time American League MVP in 1982. That was as a shortstop, as an outfielder in 89. Then he was away from the game of baseball, just coaching his son. By the way, was drafted by Baltimore in 2001. 9th round pick.
One time I don't know if there was a contract dispute or if there was a labor problem, but he thought about being a pro golfer.
Contract dispute with Robin Yount, and that allowed Paul Molitor to break on the scene, and ho-hum, he just went about his business pretty well, didn't he, Al?
Yes, he did. Got a few hits too.
Edmonds drills this one into center. Finley back in front of the track, and he's got it.
2 excellent center fielders on display in the spacious ballpark. Finley's won a couple Gold Gloves, and Edmonds has 6.
1999, by the way, was the year that Yount was inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame along with Nolan Ryan and George Brett. That was the first time since 1936. Now 3 players on the ballot for the first time were elected to the Hall of Fame in the same season. We're going to see that again, I'm sure, in 2006.
Yes, we are.
That's McGuire and Tony Gwynn and Cal Ripken. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Well, you go from a knuckleballer tonight. Tomorrow afternoon, you see Randy Johnson. Contrasting styles, to say the least.
I think most people, as nasty as Randy is, prefer his stuff versus the knuckleball.
Just because you don't see it as much?
Yeah, I think that's it, and that's why I've tried to talk to several of the guys today about if they try to do anything different. That's the best way to describe it is
rolling down the line. Gonzalez back to the wall, and he's got it.
How about trying to catch a butterfly with a pair of tweezers? Here's what it looks like from behind. No rotation, tumbling.
Almost had it.
And you got to really supply the power, the distance, because the velocity won't help you out much.
Here's Renteria with 2 outs and nobody on. And a strike on a knuckleball. Steve Sparks will turn 39 in July. That last pitch registered at 68 miles per hour. The fastball at 80. They say he tops out now at 82 miles per hour with his fastball. But after that knuckleball, I'm sure it looks about 95.
I remember Cody McKay the other day was throwing 55 miles an hour with his knuckler and topped out at 82. So why is he not a pitcher?
Yeah.
And he probably will win the ERA title for the Cardinals this year.
Ball and 2 strikes on Renteria. Well hit into left. Gonzalez back over his head and off the wall. Edgar is thinking too, especially with the arm of Luis Gonzalez. Right elbow problems. One throw and his season could be over. So they've got to be careful with him out left. Sunday, April 18th, all fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a specially designed Cardinals t-shirt. Compliments of Coca-Cola and Domino's. It's also Family Sunday Day, so fans receive a free Hunter hot dog and Coca-Cola with the purchase of a Terrace Reserve ticket. And again, will be Sunday, April 18th. The Rockies are in town.
Great weekend to come visit St. Louis and go take in a couple ball games. You got the Mark McGuire ball day on Saturday.
Close to a sold-out crowd expected for that game, but still tickets available.
Still a lot of tickets.
First pitch, a strike to Reggie Sanders. 2 home runs last night. Time is called. Reggie makes his off-season home here in Arizona. Still considered a fan favorite for what he did in 2001. Base hit could tie it up. Reggie hit number 250 and 251 of his career last night.
First one he was jammed a little bit. The next one he got it all.
Matheny waiting on deck. If Sanders can extend it. Little chopper left side. A foul ball. Let's take you back to last night. The first one, you're right, Al. It was on the inside portion of the plate. He turned on it. The second one, though, no doubt about it.
Off the facade in the second deck. That ball was crushed.
A ball and 2 strikes on Sanders.
Brenly was telling me today, Casey Daigle, who gave up all 5 of those Cardinal home runs, he said he'd seen a lot of worse performances. You know, at least the kid threw strikes, didn't seem like he caved in, didn't walk anybody.
2-2.
So he could come out and smile today, but I'm sure he'd never been hit that way, but it's part of the learning experience.
Time is called again by Sanders. Arizona has jumped out to a 1-0 lead on a sacrifice fly by Luis Gonzalez.
Sparks has beaten the Cardinals one time. Interleague play with Detroit.
Up the middle. Finley won't get there. Late jump. And the Cardinals have tied it up. A false step may have cost Steve Finley out there in center. I think it probably would have dropped anyway, but certainly it didn't help, and Sanders picks up the RBI.
His 5th RBI, and I was really 2 outs. Renteria has no place to go but race on home, but he did not lollygag a bit. Once contact was made, and with 2 strikes, you can see the batter swinging. You just take off, and easily comes and crosses the plate.
Here's Mike Matheny hitting .471 and a check on Reggie Sanders.
Watch Renteria just takes off, puts the head down, charges home, ties the score here, and you will try to steal if you get the opportunity. That's why they'll pay close attention, take the spring and wipe out of the legs of the base stealer by throwing over.
You mentioned 2 years ago the success that Steve Sparks had. He was 13-9, and 8 of those 13 games were complete games. Knuckleballer can do that, go deep into games.
I remember Wilbur Wood pitched both ends of a doubleheader one time and probably threw complete games.
Not much stress on your arm.
Of course, he was left-handed.
Made sense. 2 outs here in the second. Another 2-out RBI for the Cardinals. They've had a bunch already in this series. Popped up behind home plate and into the seats. A big crowd last night of 37,000 plus. Maybe even a little bit bigger tonight. Oh, 0-2 the count on Mike Matheny. Sparks, by the way, 0-6 last year exclusively in relief. Was not a starter. He chose the National League because not many knuckleballers in this division, in this league. There goes Sanders. Pitches high, throw to second. Safe. He stays on the bag and calls time.
You always find the middle infielders will watch the catcher for his signs, and then they will communicate between second and short as to who will be covering the bag. He looks over, puts a glove up. Open mouth, closed mouth indicates you got it or I'll take it. In that case, closed mouth, second baseman covers the throw.
1-2 the count on Matheny. Fouled back. We'll do it again. 61 miles per hour.
Sparks was released by Detroit last year. He was probably a happy man because he got picked up by Oakland and even got into postseason play. He has a personal 11-game losing streak going.
The 1-2 is pulled to Hillenbrand. Long throw, and the Cardinals are done in there after the second. RBI for Reggie Sanders. We're tied at 1. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net from Arizona. We're in the desert, a beautiful night for game 2 of this 3-game set. And Boomer Esiason is in the stands. 30,000 plus this evening. There's Boomer. Former NFL great. Bottom of the second against Matt Morris. It'll be Alex Cintron, Shea Hillenbrand, and Danny Bautista. And the first pitch is strike. Cardinals have tied it up. The RBI base hit with 2 outs from Reggie Sanders in the top of the second inning. 1-1 the count on Alex Cintron.
First time Alex has ever faced Matt Morris.
One of the guys that Arizona was able to produce in their farm system. As Morris is over to cover first, he was drafted in the 36th round in 1997. Retired for the first out here in the bottom of the second.
Retired about it. You see where Tony Womack is playing up the middle. So a real nice play by Albert Pujols. And you know he's a very aggressive player, but that's probably one of the little intricacies he's going to have to continue to work on. How far do you range to your right in that situation? It was out of necessity.
Shea Hillenbrand is the hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Local product. Mountain View High School and Mesa Community College. Or the Byung Hun Kim trade with Boston last season. And a foul ball.
Pretty good numbers last year, splitting time with Boston and Arizona.
Still learning how to play third base. When he got to the majors, he only had played 1 year in the minor leagues at third base, so that's something that Bob Brenly really emphasized during the offseason with him. He worked with Robin Yount here in Arizona. It's pulled foul. 1-2 the count.
Still looks a bit odd not seeing Matt Williams with the Diamondbacks. See those 51 home runs. He had 220 last season, career high.
The 1-2 pitch. You think about Matt Williams. Probably the last true power hitter that they have had in this lineup. I mean, Gonzalez had 57 home runs that one year, but he was their number 4 man in that lineup, their cleanup man. And since then, not until Richie Sexson was acquired, they haven't had that. Offense was not very good last year. Good play by Womack. Well, Monday, the Cardinals return to the field at Busch Stadium. They'll take on Jeff Bagwell and the Houston Astros. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Cardinals Tonight. And it's only here on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Net. Astros and Cards, early season showdown. And Andy Pettitte was scheduled to make the start on Monday, but we get word that he has been placed on the 15-day disabled list. Inflammation in his elbow and a strain in his flexor tendon. And he had that injury, Al, on a check swing. It was not when he was on the mound. It was hitting for the first time in the National League. Broken bat up the middle. Womack had him played perfectly. And Bautista is retired, and a 1-2-3 inning for Matt Morris as he is settling in. Morris will lead things off when we come back. Transaction in the history of Major League Baseball, brought to you by Schnucks. April 10th, 1947. In our This Day in Baseball history, Dodgers president Branch Rickey issues a statement that reads, "The Brooklyn Dodgers today purchased the contract of Jackie Roosevelt Robinson from the Montreal Royals. He will report immediately." And the game of baseball has never been the same after that transaction. Number 42 retired throughout Major League Baseball.
Long overdue, and I will say one of my biggest regrets is I don't know about, or don't know more about the Negro Leagues.
Here's Matt Morris and pops it foul.
How many of us were denied to see some of those great players, were older than Jackie, that were kept from playing in the major leagues. Josh Gibson is one that comes to mind.
And I know you and I have both had the pleasure a few times to run across the path of Buck O'Neill, who helps out still. I think he's either 91 or 92 now with the Hall of Fame, the Negro Leagues Hall of Fame, and their museum in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. Joe Black.
The 1-2 pitch.
Buck O'Neill signed Lou Brock?
Yes. I was talking with him during the offseason. He came through St. Louis, and we were conducting an interview with him, and he talked about the signing of Lou Brock as being one of the best that he ever made. That's for sure. 3,000 hits in the Hall of Fame later. And all those stolen bases. Cardinal season tickets still available. The best way to guarantee your seats in the new ballpark to buy season tickets this season. Become a season ticket holder now, and you'll receive priority seating in the new ballpark. 425-0688 is the number to call on Monday. 425-0688. Back to the top of the order, and Tony Womack. His off-season home is made here in Arizona. Grounded sharply to Matt Cada. 2 outs quickly.
Nice pace to this ball game.
Different than last night.
Well, it's just showing that what happens with pitchers throwing strikes, dominating games, getting ground balls. Batters going up there swinging. Nice pace to the game.
Here's Ray Langford with 2 outs and nobody on. He walked his first time up. Langford goes the opposite field. Well hit. Gonzalez back near the wall. It is gone. Home run for Langford. His second in as many games, his second in this series. 2-1 Cards.
Opposite field, and with Ray in his new batting stroke, something that he has kind of made adjustments. He's gotten a little older and coming back. Has said that he will hit more balls and hit balls harder to the opposite field, just like that. Home run last night to center field, and this one, the ball out away from him, and drives it to the opposite field. Going that bat head.
Something we need to do is take a look at his swing and maybe put a double box up from a couple of years ago to the way it is now, and how much shorter it is. It's noticeably different. Here's Albert Pujols.
And it's more of a line drive producing batting stroke rather than the arc, uppercutting, pulling the ball.
I mean, how many times did we see him at the end of his Cardinals stint go to the opposite field?
I couldn't. You know, the knee was so bad that he didn't have the foundation, but it just produced an uppercut, ball above his waist he couldn't handle.
2-1 pitch is pulled left side. Nice play by Hillenbrand. Up to Sexton. Albert Pujols is over 2. With the home run by Ray Lankford to the opposite field for the second night in a row. Cardinals on top for the first time. It's 2-1 St. Louis over Arizona. Ray Lankford has made it a 2-1 St. Louis lead with a solo shot to the opposite field. Here's Brent Maine against Matt Morris. Arizona jumped out to the 1-0 lead. The Cardinals have answered with a run in the second, another one in the top half of this inning. Maine pops it up. Rolling. Does he have room? Yes, he does. Makes the play, the Gold Glover for the first out. Good start here for Matt Morris. The mannerisms look a little bit better than they did on opening day, and a good pace. You know when he's locked in as the pace really picks up with him.
Well, you can just see how much more life he has. You know, keeping his emotions in check is always something he has to do, but you can see now he's just much more aggressive, getting the ball, not lollygagging around, just firing.
1-1 on Steve Sparks. And we're back to the top of the order. Finley waiting on deck.
People were at times get concerned about his velocity. Velocity to me doesn't mean that much for Matt. It's the movement.
Here's a ground ball, a chance for Scott Rowland. He can take his time. A bullet over there. To Albert Pujols, and there's 2 down. Kevin Garnett became a superstar early in life, but a racial attack led to a run-in with the law that almost derailed him and his path to success. In the end, he proved the doubters wrong and became one of the NBA's greatest players. Kevin Garnett, Beyond the Glory. Only here on Fox Sports Net. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Steve Finley. Prior to the game last night, he was 1 for 13, but he had a couple of hits last night, including a home run. And he started the game off tonight for Arizona with a double and a run scored. He looks at a fastball and a strike.
It was only his 3rd hit in 15 plate appearances against Matt Morris.
Born in Texas, raised in Kentucky, he calls himself a diamond rat. You got your gym rat, he says, I'm a diamond rat. Been around a long time. 16th season, 4 Gold Gloves, 2 All-Star appearances. At the age of 39, still productive.
Only active player with 300 doubles, 200 home runs, 100 triples. He joined 17 other big leaguers, 16 of which are in the Hall of Fame.
We mentioned last night 10 triples last season, the oldest to do that in Major League history, and that is a shot right at Albert, but he's got it in a 1-2-3 inning. Edmonds due up first when we come back.
Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Advance Auto. We're ready in advance. By Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by Rico. How well do you print, copy, scan, fax? How well do you share?
Back in Arizona, Jim Edmonds will lead things off for the Cardinals as we move to the 4th. It's 2-1 St. Louis. Pair of doubles last night, including a 2-run double in the 9th. First time tonight he flied to center. And the knuckleballer floats one in there for a strike at 66 miles per hour. Edmonds is hitting .273.
Edmonds and Steve Sparks played together in Anaheim. 98, 99.
The 1-1 pitch. Mentioned his success against Tim Wakefield in the American League. The knuckleballer, Edmonds was 7 for 16 in his career. 3-1. It'll be Edmonds, Scott Rowland, and Edgar Renteria. Ray Lankford is homered for the Cardinals. 2-out RBI base hit by Reggie Sanders. And the second walk in this game handed out by Sparks. So the leadoff man is on, and in steps Rolen. 3 for 5 last night with a home run and 4 RBIs. 0 for 1 in this ball game when he flied out to left. Rolling into deep left field. That's trouble. Gonzalez back, looking up. Goodbye. Home run again for Scott Rolen. What a start for his season here in the first week. 2-run shot for Scott Rolen.
Third home run, 10 RBIs. 2 more home runs tonight. Cardinals playing their 6th ball game and already have homered 14 times. And the first pitch came inside, knuckleball. Didn't sound real crisp and clean, but it sure had the same feeling.
Here's Edgar Renteria. Doubled and scored. His first time up in the second. Cardinals with 2 home runs on the night.
And Scotty had, you just have to supply all the power because the velocity is not there.
One ball, 1 strike, and time is called by the Cardinal shortstop. Up the middle, little floater. That dinks in there for a hit. Edgar is 2 for 2. You have to be patient with the knuckleball, and so far the Cardinals have been doing that.
Well, they're fighting off pitches, but they're not out in front. I mean, their weight is back, or if they are out in front with their foot, just like that, the hands are back, ready to pull the trigger. So Edgar, who had been struggling the early part, only had 3 hits and 20 at-bats, was 2 for 2 tonight. That is more like Edgar Renteria.
See if he wants to be busy on the base paths. 34 stolen bases last year.
Well, one of the reasons why is, you try to increase the chance that your hitter is going to get a fastball. And it's so difficult to catch the knuckleball.
Sanders got the fastball. And a pop-up into right.
It's difficult to catch the knuckleball. That many times, when you see that base runner taking off and you get yourself trying to throw and the ball, eludes the catcher also.
Look at the glove that Brent Maine is using tonight. Looks more like a first baseman's mitt. It's kind of a combination of both. Catcher's mitt and the first baseman's glove.
And about 50% larger.
Yep. Here's Matheny. Morris on deck. Knight grounded to third his first time up. Cardinals lead it 4-1 behind 5 hits. 17 last night.
Matheny and Pujols hitless to this point, but both of them have 5-game hitting streaks.
There goes Edgar. The pitch is popped up. Into right, Bautista is there. Edgar back to the bag at first. 2 down. Cardinals have hit 7 home runs in the first game and a half so far of this series. 7 already. The elevation of this ballpark is over 1,000 feet above sea level, trailing only Coors Field. The ball flying last night, doing so again tonight.
Atlanta used to be called the launching pad, and people didn't realize that it was the 2nd highest elevation prior to Arizona coming into the league.
Morris, a weak ground ball, 2-2 a flip. This in drive. Started with a walk and then the home run by Rolen. Langford got things going as well with the deep ball. Scotty with another one tonight. 4-1 midway through the 4th.
The 2 Cardinal home runs tonight. Ray Langford, the ball out away from him, and with his new approach, he stays on the ball more. with Scott rolling the balls more inside. But the one thing to note, the way they're trying the top hand over is both of it ends up the same. The knob of the bat is facing the belly.
7 in this series for the Cardinals as far as home runs. Matt Morris has really settled in tonight. Game started against him with a double by Finley. But since then, he has really gotten into a groove. He's allowed just that one hit. This is Matt Cada filling in for Alomar tonight. Cada, an interesting story, grew up in Ohio, and he would go down to the Cleveland Indians games and watch Omar Vizquel and Roberto Alomar. He said Alomar, one of his heroes growing up. Now a chance to play with him with the Diamondbacks. He pulls this to Pujols, a backhanded play. Morris is covering. That's how we start the bottom of the 4th. And it brings in Luis Gonzalez.
This is the Matt Morris that we've come to expect, and the guy that won 50 games a couple of the last 3 seasons, including 22 a couple years ago.
You and I were talking about this the other day, the fact that he turned down the 2-year extension. It's human nature. You're going to feel pressure to perform, and maybe we're going to see the best of Matt Morris all season long. Here's Gonzalez.
Well, and if you think about it, Matt Morris said he wanted the pressure of pitching without a contract. He felt it would make him a better competitor.
Gonzalez pops it up on the infield. Renteria or Womack. Who is it? It's Tony Womack. He makes the play. 2 down. Affleck trivia question concerning Mr. Pujols. Albert Pujols won the National League batting crown last year, a .359 average. What was the margin of victory over Todd Helton? You're a math genius.
Not this much.
Good enough for
and
me.
My fingers are pretty close together, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Here's Edgar. Outfield grass. Long throw. You bet he got him. What a play by the Gold Glover. Shortstop Edgar Renteria. Another 1-2-3 inning for Matt Morris. Top of the order due up for St. Louis. Womack, Langford, and Pujols coming up. Heck of a play by the Cardinals shortstop. 4-1 St. Louis. In St. Louis, Edgar Renteria, part of our Bank of America higher standards, and what a play. A couple of steps on the outfield grass. He settles and throws and just gets Richie Sexson and takes a base hit away. Our Bank of America higher standards.
Well, you've got to always anticipate you want the ball hit to you, but know who's running. Womack's running. You put that ball in your back pocket.
Womack lays down a beauty. Tough play here. Sparks. He won't get him. Tony Womack reaches for the first time tonight. His 5th hit in this series.
Boy, how lucky are the Cardinals to have picked up Tony Womack when they did, and because Boston didn't think he would be able to play for another 3 or 4 weeks. What a welcome addition, and it's nice to see that patented leadoff man, and he is just doing one whale of a job.
On base percentage of .550 coming into this game. Here's Ray Langford. They check on Womack. They know all too well what he can do when he gets on the bases.
Well, that's it. You know, even though it's much more difficult to steal today, he stole 3 bases in the home opener.
In his career, his success rate, stolen base success rate, is over 83%.
He's 83 coming in, and he's 3 for 3.
Right?
Boy, we're mathematicians, aren't we?
I'll leave the Affleck trivia question all up to you. You're the math genius. This close. Langford homered his last time up. He's been on base twice with a walk and a solo home run. Hitting .375. And off to a good start in the first week of the regular season. Langford pulls it down the first base line. Womack around second. Womack is going to be held up at third base, and a double for Ray Langford. 3rd time on base this evening.
How many people question the wisdom of Ray Langford getting an invite to spring training? How many people thought Oh, we must be crazy. We're not going to be a very good ball club. Ray Langford made the team. And yet, Ray has been one of those pleasant surprises. Womack knows how to run those bases, minimizing his steps, coming across there, put himself in scoring position, thanks to Ray for look out.
And here is Albert Pujols, second and third, infield drawn in. And the ball gets away. Womack to the plate. He's going to score. 5-1 St. Louis. That's the danger of the knuckleballer, especially with runners on in scoring position like that.
You know, I saw Joe Torre, when he was manager of the Atlanta Braves, take Phil Niekro out of a game with the lead. He was pitching a tremendous game, but he took him out of the game with a lead in the 8th inning because, and his explanation was, I was worried about a pass ball.
It makes sense. There is some logic to that. You disagree?
No, I mean, yes, there is some logic, but that's tough.
Pujols again pulls it to Shea Hillenbrand. The third time he has done that. Low throw, wide throw, safe at first. Sexton was off the bag.
E5.
We said before that one of the things that the Diamondbacks are concerned about, the defense of Shea Hillenbrand.
We had plenty of time to kind of set up there, and let's watch Mitchell Page, Cardinal dugout, the hitting instructor. He's going to help out our first base umpire, Brian Gorman. There it is, but he wants a hit for it.
Pujols is 0 for 3. Now it's Edmonds' turn in a 5-1 game. Chases that pitch. Edmonds has flied to center, walked and scored back in the 4th. Very patient approach in his first 2 at bats. That time chasing a pitch. 1-1 the count with Scott rolling on deck.
A lot of times hitters will tell you, if you see the knuckleballer, you know, down in the strike zone, lay off it, because the bottom usually will fall out. That's why they look for the pitch that's up. It's not going to have as much movement.
Like Pujols may have been leaning over there. Back in safely at first. A ball and a strike on Edmonds. Cardinals picked up 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and another here in the 5th. Still nobody out, and it's 1st and 3rd for Jim. .60 miles an hour.
Houston and Chicago lose today.
But Cincinnati, they're starting.
Yeah, good start.
4-1. Milwaukee, the winner today over Houston, 6-1. And again, the Astros lose Andy Pettitte, put on the 15-day disabled list.
When I heard that on the radio today, and they told me, or it was stated,
Edmonds gets into this one. Finley is back. Is it enough? Plenty deep to score Ray Langford. 6-1 now St. Louis. As Jim Edmonds picks up the RBI.
This thing they said was the reason the Yankees did not sign Pettitte is they were worried about that elbow.
Isn't that something? Sure enough, here he is.
He might have done it, you know, swinging the bat, but yet there was some history there, and it was, you know, there was concern with that elbow prior to swinging the bat.
Here's Scott Rowland. With the way that they spend money, if they wanted Andy Pettitte, they would have overpaid to keep him in pinstripes. Wouldn't you agree? Despite the overtures from Houston and his family to come home.
Well, really, Houston walked into Jeff Kent, Andy Pettitte, and Roger Clemens.
Yep.
I mean, they were the only teams that were able to sign those guys because they all wanted to play them.
They thought Randy Johnson would be a guy that would stay in Houston. That wasn't the case.
He did for the end of the season.
The end of the season, and then he was bye-bye. Rolen is homer tonight. Langford is homer tonight. Rollins was a 2-run home run back in the 4th.
And the Diamondbacks knew that Schilling was going to test the market after this season, so they dealt him.
They've got a couple of free agents on this team. Do they want to extend Steve Finley at the age of 39 to play center field? He's up. You got Richie Sexton, who was up after this year. Well, that was a wide strike. Rolen can't believe it. Albert Pujols, the batting champ last year, barely beating out Todd Helton by this much. Closest race in National League history. Edgar goes the opposite field. Bautista on the move. He won't get it. Pujols is going to stop at third base. Renteria is on base again tonight. Second and third with 2 outs.
3 hits tonight, doubling his hit total of the season. First 5 games he had 3, and he has 3 already here tonight. We're in the 5th inning. So Edgar, 2 doubles and a single today. Pujols was trying to do everything he could to give his buddy an RBI. But he got held up here.
Opportunity for Reggie Sanders. Sanders a 2-out base hit to score Renteria and get the Cardinals on the board back in the 2nd to tie the game up. It's 6-1 Cardinals, and Reggie could bust it open here.
Some activity beginning in the Arizona bullpen.
He was stretched out last night with Good, so you figure he's unavailable. They got 2 2/3 out of Daigle last night. Choate, the left-hander, also pitched, and it looks like he's going to get loose again tonight. Sanders pounds it towards third. Hillenbrand, tough hop, long throw, and he gets Reggie. Cardinals strand a couple. They have left 4 on. They get 2 more, and they lead it 6-1 here in Arizona. Brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. It's 6-1 St. Louis. Jason Marquis and Randy Johnson will hook up tomorrow at 3:30. We'll be back with you on Fox Sports Net Monday night. Woody Williams was to face Andy Pettitte. That will not be the case. Will come your way Monday night here on your home of the Cardinals at 6:30. Cards and Astros. Jeff Supan will hook up with Roger Clemens in Game 2. Chris Carpenter, Wade Miller in Game 3. All those games televised again on Fox Sports Net. 6-1 St. Louis. Ball is lifted into center. Edmonds drifting to his right. Matt Morris has allowed just 1 hit in this ball game as we play here in the bottom of the 5th, and that was to the leadoff man, Steve Finley, to start the game.
Dave Duncan, not necessarily his worries, but has been concerned with the first effort from the first 4 starters. Last night he had to be pleased to see Carpenter pick up a win, his first win since August of 2002, and then see Matt go out here and deal tonight.
And Al, not to make excuses, but you have Matt Morris on opening day. You know his emotions and the history that he's had there. So he struggles on opening day. Now he's settling in as the season gets going. You've got Jason Marquis, a guy that's trying to prove himself to a new team, a new organization back in the major leagues. He's geeked up for his first start. Then you have Carpenter last night, take away his first inning. Been 20 months since he had pitched in the major leagues. You know he's going to be overly excited. Now let's see what happens as these guys get those first games under their belts.
Yeah, and I like tonight it seems like Matt came out and established his fastball.
And that is the first walk issued by Morris, first base runner since the first.
So you take a little stroll around the mound, regroup, throw a double play ball. Cardinals pitching is vastly improved.
Here's the right fielder, Bautista. Morris doesn't get the call. Bautista is first time up. Rounded out to second. Ball and a strike on Bautista. The runner at first, Shea Hillenbrand. Brent Maine is waiting on deck. That's pulled. Chance at a double play. Rolling. Womack. Double play. Double play, and we have played 5 here in Arizona. Matheny, Morris, and Womack coming up for St. Louis. They're in control, up by 5 runs. On St. Louis, tonight's pitch-by-pitch feature is brought to you by Chevrolet.
Tony Bautista is the batter, and Matt Morris goes a sinker, the first one over but low. Then he comes back with another one, evens count 1-1. Here's a changeup, and he gets the desired effect. That's a pitch he's been trying to work on. He got him to roll over the top, hit a perfect little ground ball to his third baseman, and they turned 2 with it.
Well, it'd be nice to see him at least get closer to perfecting that changeup and throw a third pitch in his arsenal. Of course, he's got the 12-6 curveball. Very good fastball, in particular the sinking action, but if he can mix in that changeup, it's just another element.
Well, it's another element. It's Mike Matheny smart enough to realize that a guy like Tony Bautista, a good fastball hitter, a guy that's going to be a little aggressive anyway, is a perfect candidate for the changeup.
Yep. Cardinals with 8 hits tonight. Morris is on deck. This is Mike Matheny.
And some guys are very good off-speed hitters, and you do them a favor.
Out front, popped up. Shallow right. Second baseman Matt Cada makes the play. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinal Baseball, a production of Bud Sports, and is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Here's Morris with 1 down and nobody on. I was talking with Matt yesterday, Al, and he said Chris Carpenter reminds me of Darryl Kyle. He said he lets his performance speak for itself. He's not going to tell you how good he was for the years in his time in Toronto, where he's 9th all-time on their wins list, but he said he lets his performance dictate what you think of him.
Maybe that's the best thing for Matt.
Yeah. A catch, Morris.
I think he spun away from it, and the deflection may have gotten the catcher a little bit, or deflected off of his. It was inside, and he spun away properly.
Full count on Morris. By the time Carpenter went out for his 4th inning, the Cardinals had collected, my calculations as we were talking about math majors, that's correct, the 31 total bases by the time he went out for the 4th inning last night.
Dan, that's not the easiest thing, is when you have a lead and you want to pitch, and you're a competitor and you go, I've got enough runs, let me get back out there. Right. I don't want to wait. It's hard to sit on the bench those long durations. You love to have runs, but as a good competitor too, you say, okay, I got enough, I can hold them right there.
Right. Full count on Morris with 1 out, nobody on. Another foul ball with Womack waiting on deck. Cardinals have scored in every inning with the exception of the first. Another 3-2 delivery to Matt Morris. And a swing and a miss. Escape the rookie in the Ford SUV lineup, now with a no-cost GPS system, so you can find your way to Busch Stadium. Only at your quality Ford stores, your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. So many things to do at a ball game now, Al.
Yeah.
Everything except watch the game. As Womack looks at a strike.
Which has been a problem here. Some fans getting injured. In modern ballparks, so many distractions.
Womack floats this one towards short. Cintron is there. The Cardinals go 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th. Morris back to work, 6-1. That's it so far, thrown by Matt Morris. 6-1 Cardinals. He has been efficient, to say the least, and a breaking ball sneaks in there for a strike. And this is Brent Mayne, the catcher. Spent the last couple of years with Kansas City. Signed as really a guy to mentor Robbie Hammock. Brent Mayne has caught over 1,000 games in his career. He actually has a win as a relief pitcher. He did that while with Colorado and picked up that win. I believe it was against the Atlanta Braves, and he was the first position player to do so. And prior to him doing that was 1968, Rocky Colavito.
Yeah, because when Oquendo got a loss, and he was trying to equal Colavito as being a position player with a victory.
That's how I remembered it.
Yeah. Sorry, Jose. Sorry. He did throw three-plus shutout innings before he gave up a run.
Right.
To the Atlanta Braves.
Base hit, just the second of the game for Arizona.
Well, Brent Mayne is the biggest threat to Matt Morris. That is the 6th hit in 16 plate appearances against Matty.
And here's Roberto Alomar. He will be the pinch hitter for Steve Sparks. His night is done. The 12-time All-Star, 10 Gold Gloves. Alomar steps in. Alomar, ground ball. Pujols has to back up. His only play is to touch the bag at first. Roberto Alomar closing in on the Hall of Fame. I would assume, Al, that once he gets those 3,000 hits, it's pretty much a lock that he's in.
He's like 319 hits away from the magic number of 3,000. He's got 12 All-Stars and 10 Gold Gloves.
Right. Cardinal fans don't miss a game this season. April 16th, the Cardinals play the Rockies. It's Anheuser-Busch calendar night. The first 25,000 fans age 21 and older will receive a wall calendar featuring the Cardinals for the 2004 season. Friday, April 16th, the Cards take on the Colorado Rockies. Hope to see you at the ballpark.
Key at bat here because Finley has hit the ball well against Matt.
And does so again, but a one-hopper right to Womack. Positioned perfectly. 2 down.
Tony Womack has done everything. You know, on the bases, defensively, he's been outstanding. Off-speed pitch, pulls it a little bit. One step back on the grass. There's what Tony was talking about, as you saw him collect himself, a little crow hop, get his legs underneath him, take the stress off the elbow.
2 outs. Here's Cada. I'd have to say I've been pleasantly surprised with the defense of Tony Womack.
Oh, I mean, his whole game has been solid.
Yep. Cada bounces this one. Tough play for Morris, and that one trickles into the outfield. If he lets it go, it would have been a tough play for Womack, but probably a better chance than Matt Morris diving for that. And now it's a 6-2 game.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Tony with his speed and athleticism, but you can't stop a competitor for trying. And Matt bounces off, going back, and deflects the ball away from Tony. So he's coming charging here. Like you said, it would have been a very difficult play, but going off of Matt Morris's glove, it deflected away from Tony. Go for it, couldn't come up with it. 6-2 ball game. Stop the bleeding now.
Extends the inning to Gonzalez. Morris just looked back at Tony Womack and said, "My fault."
Well, but you know, that's the nature of the beast. You know, you're a competitor. You want to do everything you can. Sometimes you're a little more aggressive than you should be.
Gonzalez 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly.
I'd like to see Matt touch his 90 miles an hour again. His velocity come down a little bit the last inning and a half.
Like you said, though, if the velocity isn't there, the downward action. He's got 10 ground ball outs tonight.
Yeah, that's the dominant sinker. Breaking ball, having him off balance out in front.
Good pitch there to Gonzalez. 1-2 the count.
And Matt Morris, you know, you talked about it, working on the changeup. He maybe threw 2 or 3 a game, or maybe now he might throw, you know, maybe a couple each inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Luis Gonzalez. 26 home runs last year, over 100 RBIs.
Change up here.
The 2-2 pitch. Gonzalez into center. Good pitch. Edmonds there. Morris out of a little jam. It's 6-2 St. Louis. Langford, Pujols, Edmonds coming up. Tonight's hot pitch of the game is brought to you by Hardee's, and the Cardinals are leading 6-2.
Well, the final pitch of that inning to Gonzalez is to change up. Has him out in front. Keeps it down and away from him. Just lifts a harmless fly ball out to Jim Edmonds. And Matty Moe. Not that he's ever going to fall in love with that pitch, but it gives hitters one more option. Something else to put in their mind and to think about. Well, what if he throws this? Because 2 pitch pitchers, you try and take away 1. But Matt Morris won 22 games as a 2 pitch pitcher because he had 2 exceptional pitches.
Left-hander into this game. Randy Choate saw him pitch in the ball game last night. Langford, the first man he sees, and hello, all the way to the backstop.
Effectively wild.
The call to the bullpen is brought to you by St. Louis Renaissance Grand Hotel. Langford has been on base 3 times. A walk, a home run, a double, 2 runs scored. This season, you can win a Hyundai Santa Fe in the long drive inning sweepstakes. Watch Cardinals telecast for details. Coming soon to your St. Louis area Hyundai dealer.
Choate came in and pitched very well, and it was his second inning of work. He had some trouble, including a double by Ray Langford.
Albert Pujols waiting on deck, and then Jim Edmonds. So a pair of lefties will face this left-hander. 2-1 pitch. Langford fights it off. That ball is fair. Another hit for Ray Langford. He's thinking too. He'll challenge Gonzalez smartly. Wise move there by Langford with that bad arm by Gonzalez. It's another double, and he's part of our Bank of America higher standards. Ray Langford 4 times on base this evening. It starts with a walk. Second time up, he goes deep to the opposite field. His second home run in as many nights. Then it's the double in the 5th. He would come around to score, and now a double here in the 7th for Ray Langford in our Bank of America higher standards.
See how he even had an inside pitch and used his hands to throw it to left field. And you challenge Gonzalez with the 50% tear in his ligament in his elbow, and you saw Louis try to throw the ball sidearm. He's doing that a little bit more, but he was way off line.
This will be an intentional pass with first base open for Pujols, and the lefty will face Jim Edmonds with nobody out first and second. There was an option for Gonzalez to have Tommy John ligament replacement surgery. He elected not to do that because of the time that he would miss. Tony Womack decided to do it. Albert Pujols did not do it. But they believe that his is a little bit more severe than Pujols last year.
Yes, much more severe. And of course, as Gonzalez told me, he said once the doctor said the option of surgery, he says, well, that is no option.
Right.
He said, I'll play with it. Well, it doesn't affect him hitting. They did this last night, an intentional pass to Pujols after a double. Jim Edmonds delivered that, the runners going wild. where Pujols, it was a triple, and both of them score with Pujols one step behind Ray.
And what do we got here, Al? We got Ray at second, Albert at first, and a 1-1 count.
Ray might be start out a little quicker this time. Now, maybe, actually, Ray had to hold because he couldn't tell whether Finley was going to catch it.
Pujols was just chugging along.
Pujols could see the daylight between the ball and the center fielder, and he was right on Ray's tail.
2 strikes on Edmonds.
He kind of came. We started out the game with that video,
right? Here's a 1-2. Here's what you're talking about, Al.
Watch Ray kind of stutter step there, and then he's going, wait a minute, come on, slow up.
Runs 12 and 13 last night.
Yeah, you could have a little more fun when you have that big a lead or not much production.
Strike out of Edmonds. Start him looking. First out in this inning, it brings in Roland. Roland is fly to left. 2-run home run in the 4th and struck out in the 5th. And here comes Robin Yao. That may be all for the left-hander choke.
Villarreal, he has some horses down there.
Well, we'll tell you about the right-hander when we come back. This is our call to the bullpen, brought to you by the official hotel of Cardinal broadcast on Fox Sports Net, the Renaissance Grand Hotel. The batter will be Roland. Cardinals lead it by 4 runs. Have scored in the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. They lead it by the score of 6-2 as we welcome you back to Arizona. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net. A beautiful night for baseball here in the desert. Oscar Villarreal will take over for the Diamondbacks. He was a workhorse last season, established a National League rookie record by appearing in 86 games. He went 10-7 with a very respectable 2.57 ERA. He's into the ball game with 1st and 2nd. Here's Scott Rowland.
Another hard thrower, drops down from the side. Hard sinking action on his pitch.
They had so many injuries last year, did the Diamondbacks. They had 13 rookies make an appearance at some time or another last season. And Roland jumps on the pitch, well hit, deep left field, has a shot. It's gone. His 2nd home run. A 3-run shot this time for Scott Rowland. A pair of 4 RBI games. This one, 5 RBIs. What a start for the Cardinal third baseman.
Already 13 RBIs on the year, 4 home runs. Scotty Rowland, 2 of them here tonight. And the Cardinals are just having some fun. Ball out over the plate. It was a laser beam, never really got up high, and just snuck over. And Jose Oquendo's going, there you go, guys. Ray Langford already knew it. Albert Pujols scoring another run. And this is fun.
9-2 St. Louis.
And isn't it nice to get this production when you're also getting the quality pitching?
Edgar rips it down the third base line. That is a fair ball into the corner and an easy double with Gonzalez, and he'll whip it back in there.
4 hits for Edgar, 3 of them doubles.
Yep. So he has come alive in this series.
Cardinals came into this game batting .311 and have 11 more hits in the night, 9 more runs. Ball up on the inner part of the plate, but these guys are hammering those balls, and that one ended up right on the left field line. A buzz in the stadium.
38,342 in attendance. At the Bob in Arizona, here's Reggie Sanders, still only 1 out. And Matheny waiting on deck.
I don't think it's possible, but I don't think that Randy Johnson's going to be scared into not making a start.
I think you're probably
Glad you
right.
laughed.
That ball gets away, and moving up on to play is Edgar Renteria.
Like that one was just a pass ball.
You know, Randy Johnson will be interesting to watch tomorrow. How he holds the baseball as opposed to the way that he used to. And what I mean of holding, at least, is looking into the catcher and how he starts his windup.
Well, you know, he used to hold the glove right in front of his face. Now he holds it down lower. He does not even put the ball in his glove. He hides it on the back side of his glove. Worried about tipping off pitches. He might have been tipping off pitches, but his pitches were so exceptional, not many people hit them.
Also coming off a knee surgery, too.
40 years of age and knee surgery and a few other things. But once you get into a pitcher's head, then they start playing mind games with themselves.
3-1, so Sanders ahead in the count. Infield is drawn in with the Cardinals up by 7 runs. Reggie, a pair of home runs last night. It's 250 and 251 of his career. Reggie Sanders calls time. He's saying that this lineup really reminds him of the team that he was with in Cincinnati in '95, the Giants a couple years ago. Sanders drills this one opposite field. Is this one enough? Off the wall. Reggie, a long single. 10-2 St. Louis. Oh, and this lineup is clicking. They are smashing the baseball.
Line drive to the opposite field. Over the head of Batista, but sinking and right at the base of the wall. The Cardinals are playing in their 6th ball game and have scored 48 runs on the year.
Got to be able to pitch.
I think they have 19 doubles. 3 more home runs today, right?
3 more, yep.
Okay, that's 15 home runs.
Rolling with 2 today.
And
Langford with 1.
Mitchell Page is kind of puffing out his chest and just like, oh, ho, ho. Another day at the office.
Get another note. The Golden Gophers of Minnesota watching again tonight after their sweep of Indiana in Big Ten play. Inside to Mike Matheny as he stares back at this right-hander. So congratulations to Mike Mee and the Golden Gophers. Big Cardinal fans.
No wonder.
Matheny, a ground ball to short. That's one. Hit by Sexton. A heck of a play, and they get the double play. Tremendous pick over there by Richie Sexton. Cardinals add to their lead 4 more here in the 7th. 12 hits tonight after 17 last night. They lead it 10-2. 10-2 St. Louis. Matt Morris has been outstanding in his 2nd start of the year. You want some defense? The Gold Glover Edgar Renteria robbing Sexton of a hit. Langford has gone deep for the 2nd consecutive night, and Scott Rowland 5 RBIs. Mitchell Page loving it. This Cardinals offense has come alive here in Arizona. 10-2 Cardinals behind a 12-hit attack.
We know why Scott Rowland's mad. Golden Gopher winning 2 from Indiana.
That's right.
Better watch out, guys.
Here's Sexton. Right at Renteria. Can't buy a hit right now. 0 for 3. Still looking for his first hit in this series. One pitch and 1 out.
Well, look at where second baseman Womack is playing on the 3rd base side of second. So they had a shift on for big Richie Sexton, and he still hit it right at one of the fielders.
That was pitch number 67 from Matt Morris. This is line to Ray Langford. He's got it. 2 outs.
But you know what? You can go out and just throw strikes. Last start, first start of the year, 97 pitches. Remember, he walked 5 guys. In those 5 walks, he almost has equaled the balls that he's thrown here tonight.
He's walked 1 tonight. That's it. Here's Shea Hillenbrand.
He's only thrown 26 balls. And so he's got his fielders on their toes. They're really providing that outstanding defense.
Last year, Morris threw 5 complete games, but a big concern for Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan coming into this year, stretching him out early in the season. They want to really curtail those innings, make sure he's fresh in the middle portions of the year.
It was out of necessity with the absence of Isringhausen. And remember the Houston game, 2 outs in the 9th inning, and you lost it on the 2-run home run to Kent.
Here's a chopper. Scott Rowland can take his time. Just about automatic. They go 1, 2, 3. We head to the 8th. Matt Morris is due up first. The Cardinals leading this ball game by the score of 10-2. Folks, you can be the Southwest Airlines family of the game and sit in the special Southwest Airlines suite at Busch Stadium. Send a postcard to P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis, Missouri 63103 for the Southwest Airlines family of the game. Our call to the bullpen brought to you by the St. Louis Renaissance Grand Hotel. And this is Mr. Randolph, Steven Randolph, into the ball game, a left-hander. 3rd appearance on the season. Former Rule 5 acquisition from the Yankees back in 1997. He was 8-1 last year in 50 relief appearances. His first ever big league test. So here we are in the 8th, and Matt Morris is going to hit for himself. We talked about his efficiency. The Cardinals leading by the score of 10-2. Just over 70 pitches thrown by Morris. He's at 73 as we speak. And that's a strike by Randolph. Hector Luna has moved to the on-deck circle. The pinch hit for Tony Womack. And due up after that is Ray Langford.
It's one of those situations, as you just spoke of, Matt Morris, you don't want to really extend him, but yet you want to extend his pitching.
Right.
His number of pitches, 73, is like a day off.
Yep. Matty Moe is 0 for 3 on the night, hit into a fielder's choice and struck out a couple of times. The 1-2 pitch. 3rd time he has struck out. They are sports' most bitter rivals, and after a classic playoff series last year and an offseason filled with huge moves and front office sniping, it's become the most anticipated game in years. A special Friday, April 16th game, round 1 between the Yanks and Red Sox, presented by Taco Bell, live in prime time, 8 Eastern, and it's only on Fox.
I think he's struggling offensively right now.
Yes, they are. Here's Hector Luna, homered in his first major league at bat. Still not sold on the Yankees pitching either. If Kevin Brown stays healthy, then I'm getting more sold.
He's off to a very good start, but his history of injury is leads someone to say he's got to prove it to him.
Still waiting for John Lieber to see what he can do. He was terrific for a few seasons while the Cubs were terrible. He was one of their bright spots. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Luna with Langford on deck. 1-2. Rule 5 facing a Rule 5 here. Ball and 2 strikes. And Hector Luna reaches with a base hit. Over to get it, Finley. He won't get it. To the wall it goes. Luna is around second, and he'll stop right there. Finley took a bad angle there, went to the wall, and Luna winds up at second base.
Sometimes that ball will skip and scoot on by you, and it's got a little more speed than you think of. But you can also understand why Steve Finley might be a little tired after the last 2 games. He's going to have to track me.
And here's Langford. Langford on base 4 times tonight. No activity in the Cardinal bullpen as Moore's hit for himself. So we presume that he's back out there for the bottom of the 8th.
I didn't see anybody warming up, and as I said, with that pitch count being so low, you could see him get another inning in, not more.
Ray has walked. Solo home run back in the 3rd. Doubled and scored in the 5th. Doubled and scored in the 7th. I'm enjoying seeing him back. He's such a good guy.
Well, I think a lot of people forgot what a great Cardinal he was.
Strike out of Langford. First time he's retired this evening. Cardinal fans, have you heard about the new weekend ticket plans for this season? The Pujols plan features 5 prime Saturday games and free parking. The 8-for-6 plan gives you 8 great Sunday games for the price of 6. That's a savings of 40%. Free hot dog and soda for each game with an 8-for-6 plan. For more details, call the Cardinals at 421-2400. The Pujols plan. And here's Albert stepping in. You can also go on the website at stlcardinals.com.
If Albert extends this inning, so Taguchi has a bat and is standing at the on-deck circle.
Albert tonight is hit into a double play. Rounded the 3rd, reached on an error that was intentionally passed, and then scored in the 7th.
He and Mike Matheny both have 5-game hitting streaks on the line.
Matheny is 0 for 4. 2 outs. Luna at second as Randolph works on his spikes.
And thank goodness Matt Morris was a better pitcher than a hitter today.
He's a better hitter on opening day.
And Albert's going to be passed again. Ball behind 2-0
game.
Well, the integrity of the game.
Come on, Al. It's 10-2. Pitch to him.
How are you going to learn?
38,000 want to see him hit.
How are you going to learn about Stephen Randolph when you have to face the most feared hitter in the National League?
So Taguchi?
No, I mean Albert. I mean, I agree with you. You know, you don't learn anything by intentionally passing in this lopsided game.
I agree.
You might learn something if you pitch to him.
Down by 8 runs in the intentional pass to Pujols. So first and second, here's So Taguchi. Taguchi entered the ball game last night in right field and started a play at the plate. Relay from Taguchi to Tony Womack to the plate to Mike Matheny. Wound up being a key play in the game. As Taguchi pulls it foul. Whoa!
And Randolph, as you watch a fan fall out of the stands, but Randolph might have tweaked a hamstring. Not very good timing.
Here's the 1-1. 2 balls and a strike on Taguchi. Roser mentioned Randy Johnson will go against Jason Marquis. We're back at it on Fox Sports Net Monday night. We welcome Houston to town. Woody Williams will get the start for St. Louis on Monday. We'll come your way with Cardinals tonight at 6:30. So taps it foul. Roger Clemens gets the start on Tuesday night. Our first look at Roger in the National League in St. Louis. Last season, the Cardinals saw him for victory number 300 and strikeout number 4,000. Jeff Supan will get that start against Roger. Ball inside, and now it's a full count on So Taguchi. The runner's off with this next pitch. Cardinals have 13 hits on the night, 17 last night. Boone at second, Pujols a runner at first. And there they go. Ball, third strike on So Taguchi. He didn't like it one bit. Randolph gets out of the inning, and it's 10-2 St. Louis. Matty Moe back to work for the Cards.
Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Budweiser, who salutes America's designated drivers. We all make a difference. And by Chevrolet, 10 new models, 5 available now. The new Chevrolets, an American revolution.
Welcome back to Arizona. Matt Morris back to work. 10-2 St. Louis. He has thrown 73 pitches thus far. And the first pitch is popped up. That is going to drop for a base hit. Danny Bautista reaches. That's how we start play here in the bottom of the 8th. 10-2 Cardinals. And his pitch number 74. Let's tell you about some of the changes. Marlon Anderson takes over in left. So Taguchi is in center, so Edmonds has the night off. Roger Cedeno is in right. And Luna stays in the ball game after his double. Stays in and plays second. And Cody McKay is a third baseman for St. Louis. Batter is Brent Mayne. I would hope, Al, that this is going to be the final inning for Matt Morris.
Well, we wanted to, you want him to have a efficient, get the double play ball like this. And I agree with you. I mean, still it appears his pitch count is going to be very low. But it is early. You are concerned here. And if you're going to carry 12 pitchers, this is why if you carry 12 pitchers, you got to use them in instances like this, or you don't keep those guys sharp either.
One of the guys that has just struggled is Simon Tachi in his first couple of appearances. This might be a perfect time for him.
Absolutely perfect time. And it's not like the old days where you get paid for complete games. They're nice, but whoever the leader is still going to be single digits for the league.
Here's Carlos Baerga. Morris had 5 complete games last year. Baerga, team record 19 pinch hits last season. He hit 343. Had a pinch hit base hit last night off of Jason Isringhausen. Now, I know you remember this. He was considered really a prima donna when he was in Cleveland, and now he's considered one of the leaders and real good guys in Major League Baseball.
I remember the tragic boating accident that they had in spring training. A couple of his teammates were lost, and I gained so much respect for him because he took over the leadership and was the spokesman for the team. And I've always had a special appreciation for Carlos, and we mentioned last night he brokered the deal to bring Sandy Alomar here. And Alomar was highly rumored to be coming to St. Louis.
Just missed outside. Roberto Alomar and of course Carlos Baerga. Puerto Rico.
They were roommates in the San Diego system.
19 years ago they were roommates. And a strikeout of Baerga. Morris is cruising. It's 10-2 St. Louis. We head to the 9th. 10-2 as we move to the top of the 9th. Cardinals controlling game number 2. Midwest Sports Report is coming up. Let's check in with Ryan Burr.
Coming up immediately following the game on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, we'll have complete post-game coverage of the Blues and the Sharks as Phil Mickelson makes a run at the Masters. All that and more after the game. Now back out to Dan and Al. Guys.
Ryan, thanks. Mike Koplov will take over for Arizona. This will be his 3rd appearance out of the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. Well, 9-pitch inning may have helped the decision for Tony La Russa, but I ask you, Al, do you leave this up to Matt Morris to go back out there? He has thrown 82 pitches so far.
Well, there's no wrong answer, because he threw 97 his first one. He's at 82 now, so you extend him out further. But if you're going to carry 12 pitchers, you can't keep them sharp. I don't think you can keep them sharp, period. But if you don't take advantage and use them in situations like this, we got a couple guys that haven't pitched since Wednesday.
Cal Eldred and Julian Tavares. There's Cody McKay. Pitching extraordinaire. Hitting from the left side, took over at third base.
I do like the fact that you get some at-bats for guys on your bench. Keep them sharp.
We've already seen Taguchi and Luna. Renteria waiting on deck. It's 1 ball, 1 strike on Cody McKay. I would imagine it's got to be tough for Dave McKay to watch. As much as it is fun to see your son play every day, to be around him every day, but you're pulling for him so hard.
Well,
mixed emotions, you know what I mean?
Sure. And the thing is when the Cardinals gave an invitation to spring training for Cody McKay, Dave McKay offered to resign because he did not want any conflicts, did not want any partisan, and rightfully so. That was, Tony said, forget about that.
Yep.
It wouldn't be too long. Cody's almost family to Tony too.
And he strikes out. That's how we start the ninth. Fred Kendall, Jason Kendall on opposite teams with Colorado and Pittsburgh for a while. How do you go into that scouting report? This is how we're going to pitch my son. That wouldn't be an easy thing to do. Here's his weaknesses.
Where are you getting your check?
Yeah. Here's Renteria with 1 out, nobody on. Edgar, big day.
Yeah, I have to go to the bathroom.
I'd excuse myself too.
I won't name some of the players, but there have been close players that close friends, and a certain player's name would come up in a top of the discussion. How do you face this guy? And I remember one time a player excused himself and said, I'll be back in a couple minutes. Went down to around the corner, went over to the other clubhouse to see what kind of condition he was in. Came back and he said, doesn't matter. He was out late last night. You can't get him out.
That's that, right?
And that was that.
Right back at the pitcher. Edgar retired for the first time tonight. Coming up next, the Midwest Sports Report. Ryan Burr is standing by. Lots to go over. Blues and Sharks postgame as the Blues drop their second game of that best-of-7 complete NHL recap, and lefty makes a run at Augusta. First time for Phil Mickelson to be in the lead of a major going into the final day, and he is at 6 under at the Masters.
And he hasn't won a game. And Simon Tachi now will get a bat.
And a strike to Jason at the knees. Cardinals leading 10-2 in the ninth. Here we are in week 1 of the season. We've seen Cody McKay pitch and Simon Tachi hit. So a chance to pinch hit tonight for Simon Tachi.
To believe that Daniel is not able to swing the bat.
I would imagine. I guess that's what it is.
Daniel played in the field last inning, but now Simon Tachi is hitting for him.
Broke his bat, hit to Sexton. A flip. And the bottom of the ninth is coming up. Cardinals 13 hits tonight. They lead it 10-2. Matty Moe back to work. Roger Cedeno is out of the game, so Simon Tachi stays in and takes over in left field. The Cardinals have used every position player. Marlon Anderson moves from left to right. Cardinals lead it 10-2. And we're back to the top of the order. 4-hitter right now for Matt Morris in this 10-2 game. And the top of the order means Steve Finley. He has one of the hits. We do not see Cedeno in the dugout. He played right field last inning. He was due up third for the Cardinals. Then we saw the pinch hitter Simon Tachi in the top of the ninth. First pitch is popped up. Thank you very much. Here's Renteria for the first out.
And with a left-hander, switch hitter, a left-hander scheduled, Simon Tachi goes to left field. Anderson goes to right. Very efficient for Matt Morris tonight. So you can understand why he's being allowed to stay in and get the complete game. If you get to Sexton, and it looks like we could, will Simon Tachi and Anderson switch?
Anderson gets the ball back in from right field. Makeda with his second consecutive hit. Single and a double, and hit number 5 for the Diamondbacks. Gets the bullpen scurrying a bit down there for St. Louis. Right-hander begins to throw.
Thinking Cal Eldred.
He has not pitched since Wednesday. Tavares has not pitched since Wednesday either. Here's Eldred getting loose. Here's Gonzalez. 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Picked up the first RBI of the ball game. Matt Morris is approaching 90 pitches, still under that mark right now. It's 2-0. Cincinnati a winner. Milwaukee wins. Florida wins. Atlanta comes back and beats Chicago 5-2. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Gonzalez. A foul ball.
The deal on when you can complete a game. Near that 90 pitches. Does have a chance to do it under 90.
3-1 the count on Gonzalez. And it's pulled to Albert. 2 outs. Tonight's play of the game brought to you by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. Bud Light, our play of the game. We start with Scott Rowland. His first of 2 home runs, a 2-run shot. He's got 5 RBIs this evening, 4 last night, 9 in the series. And he is among the league leaders in that department, if not leading now after tonight. A Bud Light play of the game. Strike 1 on Sexton, 0 for 3. 2 strikes away for a victory for Matty Moe, the first of 2004 in a complete game.
Miles an hour at that last delivery, so still left in the tank.
That's a strike on the inside corner.
Both sides of the plate. Adrenaline is pumping. Wants this one, and you've come this far. There's only one way you want to finish it.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Sexton, hot shot. McKay, Renteria, first base. Yes, Cardinals win it. Complete game for Matt Morris. 10-2 the final. Morris is 1-1 on the season. Cardinals 13 hits. They win it 10-2. For Bud Sports crew and Al Rabosky, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Our coverage doesn't stop now. Stay with us. It's the Midwest Sports Report. We send it to the studio.
Next on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, the Blues didn't help themselves today in the Shark Tank, but now they're heading back to St. Louis to try and tie up the series.
I'm Ian Carroll in San Jose. The Blues dropped Game 2 to the Sharks. Hear from the Blues tonight.
Can the Cards keep up the offensive explosion in the desert? And the Astros lose a key arm, giving the Redbirds a big break this week. Plus, there was a lot of movement at the Masters today. You'll be surprised who's on the leaderboard.
Now, your Midwest Sports Report, presented by Busch Light.
Fire for more runs against the D-backs in Arizona.
Game 2 of the series on Late 1 in Phoenix tonight. For more in the game, here's the Ace Mortgage at the scene with Dana now.
Well, we didn't think we could match what happened last night. 17 hits for the Cardinals last night, 13 tonight, and they win it by the score of 10-2. But the big story, Matt Morris, 93 pitches, and obviously very efficient in his second start.
Oh, outstanding. You know, I mean, you get a lot of offense, but the real story is Matt Morris, and all the offensive players will tell you that he was their star. He really was efficient. He got double play balls when he needed to. He didn't walk many. He only struck out one, but he was in complete command, and he was a pitcher.
He only struck out one, like you said. He walked one, and he gets a little help here at the end as Matt Morris picks up his first complete game of 2004. He had 5 last year. Now, another story that's really developing with this team to start this year is the offense, and in particular, Ray Langford, 4 hits tonight, 4 times on base, and also Scott Rowland, 5 RBIs tonight, 4 last night. Boy, he's having a heck of a start.
Well, he's having a great start, and you know that there's plenty of supporting cast to go along with him. But, you know, when you get the contribution for Ray Langford, and Tony Womack only had 1 hit tonight, only 1 run scored. But there is so much talent in this lineup here, and when you start getting the pitching to go along with it, it's a nice package.
And it's nice to be 500, right?
It's nice to be 500, especially when you start out 1-3.
Yep, you got that right. It is a 10-2 final here from the Bob in Arizona. For Al, I'm Dan. Cardinals, next action on Fox will be on Monday night. Let's send it back to the